Really good catching up with Stan there. Stan Van Gundy, excellent job on the broadcast. And I loved him as Heat coach. So always like having him on the program. It had been a while since I'd spoken to him. Hey, I got to tell you guys, if you're not feeling well, you got to call Doctors on Call 365. I've used Doctors on Call 365 myself. I've used them a couple times, once for my son, once for myself. And South Florida's urgent care that comes to you, that's the key with Doctors on Call 365 is rather than have to call your pediatrician, your everyday doctor, you'll wait for an appointment for a couple weeks. I got to see someone right now. I'm sick. I have 103 fever. Well, Doctors on Call 365, they are coming to your home. They're coming to you, your office, wherever you are at the time. And they could do whatever you need. You need a strep test, a flu test, a COVID test. You need IV fluids. You got to get better. You got to get right. Blood drawn. If you need a prescription filled or refilled, Doctors on Call 365, based in Broward County, serving Miami-Dade and Southern Palm Beach as well. Now, while they're self-pay right now, it's going to wind up being less expensive to have Doctors on Call 365 come to your home than if you were to go to the emergency room, wait for hours, and then pay your copay. The convenience to me, priceless. DoctorsOnCall365.com or get someone on the phone right now and get an appointment. 786-577-9302. That's 786-577-9302. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you will get someone on the phone. All right, so I got to do a little bit of WWE here. So WWE right now, and granted, we got my pro wrestling show every Saturday. Myself, my partner Joey Levine, it's still real to me. Every Saturday it drops. We had a special episode this week, which was Monday night because I was away. Because the ZASLOW family was on vacation. We're a skiing family now, so I missed recording Saturday's show. And Monday, we recorded a special edition of the show. So go back and check that out for sure. But anyway, huge news in WWE yesterday. Number one, Stephanie McMahon stepped down yesterday as co-CEO. Now, here's what happened. So when Vince McMahon retired, what was it, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, whatever it was, Stephanie McMahon was on leave. Why was she on leave? Don't know. But Stephanie McMahon was on leave. And she comes back to take over as co-CEO along with the then president of WWE, which was Nick Khan. No relation to AEW's owner, Tony Khan. So they're co-CEO. And of course, Triple H, he comes back, Stephanie's husband, Vince McMahon's son-in-law, and he's chief content officer, head of creative. And the WWE fan loves this because they felt Vince was kind of out of touch. The game's passed him by. You need someone else running the show. Triple H takes over, and WWE has been on fire since. It's been so good. So Vince comes back as chairman a few days ago. Makes like a power play. Gets the board back on his side. Just a couple weeks after the board unanimously voted against bringing him back. Then they vote for him to come back a couple days ago because he owns the most shares, 51% of the shares, and he's not going to approve any type of new media rights deal, which is going to be coming up soon. And I made the point, recent on It's Still Real to Me, I believe it was, where you look at what the NFL has done, where they've moved the NFL Sunday Ticket from DirecTV to YouTube for streaming next year. Could that be a precursor to what WWE is going to do after their deal at the end of this year with Fox, SmackDown, and NBC Universal, which is USA Network, which has Raw? Could they do something similar? Well, Vince McMahon makes a power play where he's not going to approve anything unless he's allowed back in as chairman of the board. He has 51% shares. So he's back in the saddle. And then a day or two after, which is yesterday, the board unanimously approves Vince McMahon coming back. Stephanie McMahon not only goes back to her leave, she officially resigns from WWE. Released a whole statement. Now, nothing inflammatory there. None of her words made it seem like she's unhappy, but we have no idea why she went on leave originally. Could it be because something happened with her father? Could it be she's unhappy? Could it just be she wants to go back and be with her family? You got to remember, Triple H at the time, he had suffered some type of cardiac situation. And they got 3 kids, I believe. So, and she's been, day to day, traveling all over the place, WWE, for, half her life. But the timing is so suspicious that she resigns right after her father is back. Now, Triple H is still in charge of creative for now. I mean, Vince is kind of back in charge, but he's not doing the day-to-day stuff right now. Is he going to be able to hold out on not being in charge of all the stories and whatnot? Is he really just back because he wants to make sure he wants to get the bang for his buck? If he's not going to be in charge, he's going to sell the company. He's going to be in charge of that part and then make the most money for his shareholders. Is that possible? It's possible, but Vince lies. Everybody knows Vince lies. So Stephanie steps down. We think that that's going to be the biggest news of the day. Then, late last night, the rumors are rampant. We know the WWE, I think they hired a firm, JP Morgan Chase, to kind of look out and see who's interested in buying. And there's a bunch of people on the list, bunch of companies that could wind up buying WWE. And then last night, now it hasn't been reported by any of the big pro wrestling media writers, guys like Sean Ross Sapp, guys like John Alba. It's not the big guys yet. But some smaller dirt sheet publications are reporting that WWE has in fact been sold to the Saudi group. The same Saudi group that runs Live Golf. And they have endless money. The rumors are, again, it is not confirmed, at least as of right now, this show being taped. It has not been confirmed by any of the big media guys. But there are major rumors out there that the Saudis have bought WWE. And that then it's going to go back to being a private company. Now, going back to being private, I think is great for WWE, for WWE fans. Because you don't have to worry about shareholders. You don't have to worry about appeasing everyone. You can go back and be a little bit raunchier, be a little bit edgier, that kind of deal. But the Saudis owning it, that's kind of nutty. And number 2, does that mean if they go back private, is Vince going to be totally back in charge again? Is he going to be running everything again? Which is what no one wants. So this is a massive story that's going on right now in the pro wrestling world. We don't have any answers right now as of this taping. Certainly, it's still real to me every Saturday on the ZASLOW Show 2.0 podcast, which now part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. Super pumped about that. You want to make sure that you listen this weekend. But I'm going to keep trying to cover it throughout the week on ZASLOW Show 2.0, okay? We'll get some people on the show over the next couple days, I'm sure, and we'll try and get more into it. But right now, the rumors are that the Saudi group has bought it. I think it's fake news right now. It may end up being true, but right now I think it's fake news because I don't think that you can get a board to approve a sale just a couple days, in just a day or two, after you hire a firm, JP Morgan and Chase, to do an extensive research, and try and get, bidders out there. And within 24, 48 hours, the board signs off that we're selling it to the Saudi group. It seems a little bit quick. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But I think this is fake news right now. It's worth keeping an eye on, but I think it's fake news right now. Huge story. And just, it's a little scary as a pro wrestling fan because I love WWE so much. I love it. It's a major part of my life. It was a major part of my childhood. I love WWE. I love pro wrestling. So it makes me really nervous what it means for the future of pro wrestling. But whoever Vince winds up selling it to, is he going to sell it somewhere where it's going to get turned on its head? Number 1, it's a super successful company. The most successful it's ever been right now. So why would whoever the buyer is make drastic changes? And if you're Vince, something that, a company that your father once owned, are you going to send it somewhere where your life's work is going to be ruined? But maybe he would. He's the all-time heel, Vince McMahon. So you're very concerned as a pro wrestling fan. And this is wild times in the pro wrestling world. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it ends up being a good thing for WWE, but it's a little bit scary. All right, let's get to big deal or not a big deal. I mean, that right there, that's big deal. I mean, what else are you going to say, you know? But big deal or not a big deal, you know how we do it. Every show, big deal or not a big deal. And I got to tell everyone, look, if you're looking to get down, if you're looking for some live music, you're looking to have some fun, Briny Irish Pub, Pompano Beach, you know that's my spot. World's greatest upscale dive bar. Great food, great music, great times. You got live music every day. Starting tonight at 7 p.m., you got live music, and it's Wednesday, so that means you got fish and chip specials. That's right. Every weekday, you got the Briny Hour. That's happy hour from 4 to 7 p.m. Now, you take Atlantic Boulevard all the way to the ocean, and right there is the Briny. Now, don't park in the ocean. Park behind the Briny. It's free parking. Don't park at one of the meters on the other side. Park behind the Briny. They will validate your tag, and you don't have to pay for parking. Briny Irish Pub, Pompano Beach. I'll see you there Sunday. Dolphins game, 1 p.m. That's my spot for Dolphin games. Come on out to the Briny. Let's watch the Dolphin game together. Let's get lit up. Come on, let's get loose. You know what I'm talking about. Big deal or not a big deal? All right, first up here. So, Jeff Saturday, interim coach of the Indianapolis Colts. It doesn't look like he's going to be retained. I mean, how can he? He was a disaster. But, big deal or not a big deal, that apparently ESPN wants him back. Now, I think that's a big deal because I got a hard time taking what Jeff Saturday says seriously if he's talking about coaching. Like, Jeff Saturday can't now go on my television and preach about a coach doing this, coach doing that, good job, bad job, when you were awful as a coach. So, I don't care what you have to say about a coach. You stick to your analysis about the game, about players, but I don't want to hear Jeff Saturday talk about a coach because he doesn't know about coaching. We just seen he has no idea about coaching. He's a terrible coach. So I think that's a big deal. He loses credibility now if he goes back to television. So that's a big deal. All right, number 2. How about Eddie Murphy yesterday at the Golden Globes? I love the Golden Globes. I didn't see it last night because I was watching the Heat. I was watching the Panthers. Double dip, you know what I'm talking about. But how about Eddie Murphy last night? He's up there presenting. I don't think he won an award. He's up there presenting, and Eddie Murphy, he's giving that good advice.
I want to let you know that there is a definitive blueprint that you can follow to achieve success, prosperity, longevity, and peace of mind. It's a blueprint, and I followed it my whole career. It's very simple. There's 3 things. You just do these 3 things. Pay your taxes, mind your business, and keep Will Smith's wife's name.
That's a good job by Eddie Murphy. And it sounded like he was being serious, you know, and then he throws that out there at the end. Eddie Murphy, all-time great funny guy. And he hasn't been funny in forever. He's just not funny anymore. Which is weird because he was amazing, but that was funny. That's a big deal. That's a good job there by Eddie Murphy. All right, how about this? Last night, NBA on TNT. Yeah, the Heat game on TNT last night. Adam Left co-hosting, Candace Parker. Jamal Crawford made his debut, and of course Shaquille O'Neal. He does Tuesday nights as well as Thursday nights. And was this part of the Georgia TCU bet that Shaq lost? Because he showed up with a ridiculous hairline.
To my right,
Here we go.
a 4-time champion, Stephen A. Shaq. You know, we had plans, but when that hairline walks in, it's something we gotta discuss.
Forehead, though.
Shout out to my main man, Stephen A.
Hey, is that crooked? Hold on.
Keep it light.
Is
it
the line
crooked?
a little crooked?
It looks good.
Hold your head to the left and it's straight. There you go.
Oh,
Wow.
it is
Yeah, it's a
crooked.
little bit up to the right.
Bill,
Up and to the right.
Bill, I'm gonna kill you when I get home, Bill.
Oh, man.
All right, so I guess I'll go big deal there because you got to see the video. He like it's up here. If you're watching YouTube.com/@ZASLOW Show, and I'm not one to talk, but yeah, his hairline is starting all the way up here. It's ridiculous. So I'm going big deal, but I love Shaq. That's my dog. All right, finally, I got one more for you here. Big deal or not a big deal? Donovan Mitchell. He's having some type of season, man. Don't at me about Tyler Hero and Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell was having some type of season. He had 71 last week. When he scored the 71, I looked at my son. We were in Utah last week. I go, is this real? This happened now? Is this for real? Anyway, he returned to Utah last night for the first time. Jazz won by 2. Donovan Mitchell had 46. And you got to give it up for the crowd there in Utah, because a lot of times the player will return, they'll boo. This really wasn't his fault. He didn't request a trade. It's just the writing was on the wall. They're going through a rebuild. It also helps that the team is not awful. The team, they're like a 500 team. I think they're 2 games over 500 maybe. And so that helps. And here you could hear in the starting lineup introduction, they gave it up for Donovan Mitchell.
The starting center, number 31 at 6'11" from Texas, Jared Allen. Number 45 at guard at 6'3" from Louisville, Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, that's good. That's a big deal right there. You like that. Donovan Mitchell seems like a good guy, and man, he is having some kind of year, and that Cleveland team is fun. But the Jazz, they wound up winning last night. Most importantly, though, we know the Heat won. So that right there is another edition. A big deal or not a big deal. Wow, what a show today. What a first show on Blue Wire. Make sure you like, you rate, you comment, you do all that good stuff. You tell your friends about the show. I love you long time. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to Stan Van Gundy who stopped by. Thanks to everyone for putting together a great show today. Appreciate all your hard work. And we'll talk to you on ZASLOW Show 2.0 tomorrow. You know what that means.